The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. Additional support is provided by Athearn Trains. Check out all their new monthly announcements at athearn.com. Additional support is provided by Jelsma Graphics, America's leading distributor of quality railroad art and embroidered clothing since 1985. Check out their website at jelsma.com. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast. This is the What's Neat This Week, show number 135 for November 7th, 2020. This is a show where y'all can kick back and enjoy model railroading with a lot of great friends, just like we're doing down here tonight. And some of the wonderful friends I've got with me is starting out with Sugar Fire Joshua Barton.
Hi, everybody.
I got to go to Sugar Fire today with Denny. I've also got my amazing wife, Michele Patterson, with us tonight. Hello, Michele.
Hi.
On Skype, out in Skype land, up in beautiful Canada, I've got Lionel Strang.
You didn't tell me Michele was going to be on. Why didn't you tell me that before?
Hi, Lionel. It's so good to see you.
I know. Hi, Michele.
Hey, how you doing? You look great.
I know. Why don't you tell those other guys to hit the road? We don't need them.
And sitting over in this corner over here, I've got Denny Jelsma, all the way from beautiful Jacksonville, Florida.
Hello.
We've got Daniel Coombs running camera for us tonight, and Daniel brought wings for us for after the show. I am, of course, Ken Patterson, the host of the What's Neat show over at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine, and tonight we are going to have a great show because the weather, as I always start out to say, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, was absolutely beautiful. The trees are peaking here in Missouri today. Just scanning the shot along the river, I mean, the colors, just everything was perfect. 74 degrees today when I picked you up at the airport.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Absolutely fantastic. And right after you got in town, I brought you to Mark Twain Hobbies in St. Charles, didn't I?
Yes, and I was very impressed, and the staff was excellent.
The staff
like Daniel.
Yes, like Daniel. I'm really impressed with that young man. And the inventory was just really impressive.
The one thing that we noticed in those cases, Denny, that you were talking about to me on the phone before you even got here were those Broadway limited hybrid brass locomotives. Tell us about what you think about those.
Oh, they're absolutely gorgeous. They're called hybrid brass because they are brass. And they come in Northern Pacific and also Spokane. And I got one of each. And they smoke. They run, and they're just gorgeous. I'm just really, really impressed. And my friends at Broadway, Bob, really did a good job this time.
They do smoke. They got that great smoke effect. Aren't you glad I don't smoke anymore? That's one good habit I got this past year. Another thing that we looked at up there that was really cool, and if I ever build a project layout or custom build a layout for someone, it's going to be loaded with these Woodland Scenics buildings because they're already built, they're weathered, and they're lit in HO scale. I couldn't believe the variety of those structures.
Yeah, just gorgeous.
So much detail in each one of those.
We've got one of them on the table. I picked up this mobile home the other day, and it's actually got the food on the grill. You saw that. It was cooking. And it's just part of their line of structures. They also make these in O scale. I was very impressed with the O scale ones. I'd like to see if they make an engine house, which would be perfect for our ON30 layout, because that ON30 stuff that we've got from Bachmann Trains actually runs on HO scale track, but it's actually O scale 143, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, rock and roll with that. And they also had N scale. So when we do that project layout, which I'm definitely going to do that small 3-foot by 5-foot layout in N scale, I want to put a couple of these buildings on that. How much time is it going to save with the fact that we don't have to build buildings? So that's something I wanted to bring up. Mike Buddy isn't here with us tonight, but he'll be on next week. But Woodland Scenics also impressed me, and I got footage of this to run as well, was the vehicles that they're making. Mm-hmm. These vehicles from Woodland Scenics have already got people in them. I mean, we're telling you about really great items that are perfect gifts for the Christmas model railroader in your family. You don't have to build anything. They're already weathered. The fire truck and the log truck that I just showed you, absolutely amazing, right?
I'm looking for my Christmas gift from you. So
I know. And I wish Lionel Strang was in town because we had the privilege today, Lionel, to go to Sugar Fire and actually taste the food.
Excuse me, I'm still at the airport. You picked up Denny, but I'm still out here. Hello, McFly.
Daniel, quick, run to the airport. We need to pick up Lionel. Actually, you were here that one time for that show. You flew here, you came here, and that was a good time, wasn't it?
I was driving through town, yeah.
That was awesome.
It's always fun. I highly recommend that anybody that gets to go to visit Ken, if Ken is, when Ken is always gracious, I highly recommend that if you get a chance to stop by the world famous What's Neat This Week studios. Is that okay, Michele, if I say that?
Which part?
The part about stopping by.
Sure.
Just
The
call
part
first.
where I'm great.
Call first so we don't send the attack dogs out
That's
after you.
call first. And Ken's number is, his personal cell number is 612-343.
I-81, you-81 too.
Oh, that's old.
Okay, that was a 70s joke.
God.
But you know what, Joshua? It was really nice to have Denny down there. And Denny gave you an apron, didn't he? Tell us about that.
I have it right here. So, as some of you are following me on Facebook, and I have my own model railroad. It is called the Fountain City Railroad, and Denny presented me with this wonderful apron with my stitched logo on it, and it is absolutely amazing. So now I have pockets, so I don't lose all my stuff while I'm working on the layout. So it's absolutely wonderful.
That's awesome, man. Denny, good job. I mean,
Absolutely.
just fantastic job. And he also brought us, look at this. I'm not wearing a sport coat tonight. One of the 2 sport coats that I've worn in the last 135 shows. I'm actually wearing a What's Neat show that designates where our show is seen on YouTube.
Yep.
And Michele?
This shirt is great. It's so comfortable and it's pretty. It's got my name right here, and it's got the ice train here because I lived in Germany for a few years. And it's just, the quality is wonderful. The embroidery work is just fabulous. So
Absolutely.
highly recommended though.
Yeah.
And Ken's got his Santa Fe logos on each sleeve.
Santa Fe.
Ooh,
That's right.
Yes.
look at that.
And so
Yeah. Kudos to you, sir. And if you look behind us, there's a bunch more of Denny's wares.
Yes, we've got the new What's Neat jacket with the new What's Neat logo on it. And what the problem was we didn't have the words in model railroading written on the bottom of the logo. So when we go to Frankie G's or go to the bar afterwards to get wings, which we're able to start doing now eventually, we're back to almost normal here in Missouri, even though it's not getting better. People don't ask us anymore, do we belong to a biker gang? Which they did. They're like, what is this What's Neat This Week? Is it a gang? Well, yeah, it's a gang of model railroaders, best people in the world. But now it says in model railroading on the bottom, and on the front of my jacket it says YouTube, so we've got it labeled, so the next time we go to a train show, say Train Fest, when it's 7 degrees outside, which we'll probably be doing next year, it's perfect, Denny. I mean, we've got our garb.
yeah.
Lionel needs one, though. Lionel, would you like a What's Neat hat?
Yeah, no, well, I have a giant melon, so a hat wouldn't work. But I'd take a What's Neat shirt. I have a gigantic head. I know it doesn't show, but trust me.
How does he fit it all in there?
So, yeah, I'd like a What's Neat shirt. Well, then you know what? I would send you like a bunch of Modelers Life shirts, but I don't think you'd ever wear them. Michele, how do you get the Ken man to wear a particular shirt?
Well, I just tell him to, and he does it.
Does it
All
work?
right, okay, I will. Let's do that. Actually,
I got one of your poker chips here from the last time you visited.
I keep a poker chip of his in my car all the time as a good luck charm.
AML. I haven't tried to cash this in at the casino. I wonder how much I could get for it.
What is that? What is that?
You get a
that
shiny
from
pair of
Canada?
handcuffs for that.
That is
AML
Lionel
is-
Strang's podcast poker chip.
Yeah, it's a Modeler's Life is the podcast. It's sweeping the nation.
It is.
It actually is.
Sweeping the nation. It is the sister show to What's Neat This Week.
That's right.
Yeah. We are.
I need to watch it. I
No,
have
you
not
can't
seen you on your show. I need to watch.
It's so revolutionary that you cannot watch it. You can only listen to it.
Can only listen. You don't want to see me. I'm not pretty like Ken. I'm not good on video.
Thank you. Let's talk about something really exciting like this Bachmann Siemens Charger locomotive that showed up this week in the studio, and boy, have we got some B-roll of this. I know, right? Because I shot the cover of this last year, so I was the first kid in the country to actually have one of these last year at this time, but mine didn't have a motor in it. This one actually does have a motor in it. It's also got the TCS decoder in it and all the lighting features. And I haven't filmed it yet at night, but I'm going to pretend like I did. Watch this video clip. Look at the headlights on this. When I hit the horn button, the ditch lights flash back and forth. The strobe lights are flashing. The emergency light on top also works, and I'm going to have to read the instructions on what button to push to make that work. And also the reverse lights work. So when you hit the reverse button, the red lights on the front of the locomotive go on because it's going backwards, and now you've got a headlight on the back. So also one more thing this has got, and I verified this, we both did, Denny.
Yes.
We went down to the Amtrak station after we left Sugar Fire today, and we found the actual Charger locomotive out in the real wild.
Actually, 3 of them.
Yes, 3 of them together running through that field. This is better. This is like unbelievable, because you know what? They don't run right behind the house out here. We have to go hunt for these. We got 3 of them, and they do, in fact, have that light inside that lights up the interior of the locomotive.
So cool.
I filmed a close-up of that. It was just in full daylight. I mean, these aren't models shot in the backyard. We're actually shooting these for real, but I did shoot them in the backyard. And here's some photographs of the model in real sunlight today. I've got a top shot and a side shot of the locomotive, as you can see here. And the model just looks absolutely like the prototype. That's the first thing out of Denny. What he said to me when we got down there was, I can't believe how much the real one looks like the model.
Yes.
You actually said that.
I think the model looks better than the real.
Yeah.
So yeah, hats off to Bachmann. This is going to make a lot of Amtrak modelers out there very happy. We ran it tonight on the layout, in fact, and you said it ran good.
Yeah.
I think Mike Buddy, when he was here, said it ran really slow. So thank you, Doug Blaine, out there at Bachmann, and all the guys for sending this to me. I will do some run-bys with it for the What's Neat show for January. And by the way, the What's Neat show for December got finished and put to bed this week. In that video, you get to watch us install a TCS Speedometer 1 on the layout. That's kind of an interesting system, and it actually really works. And we also talk about some new ballast material, glue adhesives from the UK, from Deluxe Material. Ballast Bonder is what it's called, and Magic Ballast, I believe, is what it's called. Just wait for the December's video. It's really cool. One of these ballast glues is actually a powder. So you can mix it in, not only with your ballast, but real coal, to make an actual coal load in your freight cars.
Oh, wow.
It's really neat that you can do that, because you don't want to go pouring liquid into a Bachmann hopper or an Athearn hopper. It's going to make a mess. But just putting this sprinkle of dry white powder mixed in with the coal and misting a little bit of water out of a hairspray bottle or a bottle spray, it sets right up. So yeah, it also works on trees. I did a super tree with it. So there's a lot of neat ways to use it. I show all the different ways in the December What's Neat video, so look forward to that.
I saw the November's What's Neat is out too.
Yeah, James Regier is not here tonight. He's having a bonfire with the family, but rock and roll. There are so many positive, more than 54 positive comments I counted on his Trackmobile installation, and he's got some people asking him, will he do it for them? So yeah,
wow.
It's really impressive and respectful in how much work he went through to install that lighting system into that small little tiny little model. Very impressive. We also do a segment in there on how to make saguaro cactus. We talk about different modelers and how they've made it in the past. And we do a segment in there on how to make honeysuckle, that vegetation that grows wild here in Missouri trackside. And it just looks really great to make it with wire armatures rather than just puff balls. So rock and roll for November's video. It's already out, and I think it's passed already 7,000 views as of this recording. So
Am I allowed to ask a question?
Oh, dude, please jump right in here, because I don't want to talk.
Okay. So how do you get your ideas for your monthly What's Neat? Like, do you have a book where you kind of get an idea and you write them down? Like, do you have 6 months worth of ideas, or is it kind of like as it comes to you, you work on it? Like, I bet you people would like to know that, because it's just an endless stream of useful information. And, you know,
that could have went either way.
Oh.
Yeah, I was worried for a second.
Lionel,
if I was talking to Josh, it would have been a useless stream of nothing. But
Lionel, what he does, he calls me and Josh, and then he runs it by Michele.
Oh, okay. I think Michelle's calling the shots.
Yeah, I have the final say because I know so much.
See that? It makes my job so much easier. I've got all this supervision. It's awesome.
That's right.
So okay, Michele. Like, what's the deal? Like, how does he keep track of what he should do, or what's the ideas are, or does he like wake up, bolt upright in bed one night in the middle of the night? And he go,
I don't know. He's up all night, so he sleeps separately because he doesn't want us to wake him up in the morning. So I don't know. But, he does every once in a while just say, I got it. I know what I'm going to do. So I think it just kind of comes to him.
I can see him coming up the upstairs bedroom at 3 a.m. He goes, Michele, what do you think about doing trees like this on the
It's like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. She comes in the kitchen and he's molding mashed potatoes.
Well, I've been around the media industry a lot in my years. And Ken, you're fantastic. You just come up with these instant things, and it's very, very impressive. And I know that Michele is behind all of that.
Thank you. I know. I couldn't live without her. Joe Fugate is a very, very good boss. And thank you very much, Joe, for giving me the opportunity to do the What's Neat videos starting November 2012. We've done 96 or 98 What's Neat shows on so many different subjects: how to make roads, how to make trees, how to make water. Just as projects get built around here, or as different companies assign me with projects, generally I can tag team the how-tos on whatever it is I'm building. Am I building a trestle for Athern on a photo shoot that we're doing with the military train, the honoring our veterans train, the NNS shot? So now I'm building a military load, I'm building a trestle, I'm building water. So now that becomes a What's Neat segment on video. Is it Blackstone Models that wants me to model a K27 running through snow? And they give me a Christmas card of an actual K27 saying running through snow, and they say, duplicate this, make a shot of this. So I'm copying a prototype photo, and I've got to nail it. If I don't do it right, I don't get paid. So here I am doing super trees, covering them with snow, doing wire trees, doing honeysuckle bushes with no leaves on them, covering all of this up with snow medium, and still trying to figure out how to put a wreath on the front of that K27. Well, that, through the magic of Photoshop, was hanging on my shopping center up here, and the sun's angle matched. And so all of a sudden, and now I know I'm showing you the shot right now on film, because that's the beauty of the show, I can do that. Here is a K27 running through snow, which matches, I show you now, the prototype photo that she sent me to duplicate. I've got them both. Copyright to whoever shot the prototype photo, thank you very much. But yeah, these jobs just come along out of a necessity, out of the, what's the word? Need, out of need. When we built the Midwest Valley Modelers layout a long time ago, and we took it around the train shows, the one thing that kept coming to mind for scenery on the layout was, and for different ideas for the magazine articles was, it came from a need. So if you need to come up with this, you need this for the layout, you're going to figure out how to build corn stalks. And we had the corn stalks dry on the Midwest Valley Modelers layout. We showed this in the show 2 weeks ago when I showed you the flat car loads that I modeled with the John Deere harvester running through the cornfield. And look at the dry corn. It looks like September, mid-September dry corn. And what that was back in 1989, 88, Michele and I lived in an apartment complex, and we had our first artificial Christmas tree. And I was in real estate back then, and one of the houses that I foreclosed on had a heat gun in it. I've never had a heat gun before. And what does a 21-year-old, 22-year-old guy do when he's got a heat gun in his hand? He runs around the apartment melting stuff to see what it'll do. And I melted the Christmas tree in the apartment building, the end of the tip, and it melted like dry corn. So the next thing I know, she comes home from work, and I've got all these little Christmas tree wreaths that we picked up at this silk greenhouse store, and I'm cutting them into 1-inch sections. And Phil Sheehan, it's funny, you talked about Phil Sheehan tonight, because you used to know Phil, the brass ferret, used to be a brass dealer. Phil is the reason why the show is called What's Neat This Week, and I told you, where that came from. Yeah. But Phil ended up making 5,000 corn stalks for us because he had some time that he spent where he was away from modeling for a while, and he had time to make the corn stalks. So he ended up heating and melting 5,000 corn stalks so that we could actually have the field for the layout. Out of a necessity of need is where some of these ideas come from. And also deadlines help. When Joe Fugate tells me everything's due on the 5th or the 10th of the month, and today is the 8th, I need to come up with some ideas really quick. So just, it's the You got me started, man. You asked me a question.
All right,
Long answer.
I'm going to stop you right there
Okay.
because everyone watching right now wants to know the What's Neat This Week story now that you brought it up. Why is
Denny,
the show...
you've got a lot of brass models on the table. In fact, you've got the only brass-plated observation dome car I've ever seen. This is actually plated with gold. This is a gold-plated car, isn't it?
24 karat gold.
And you were a brass dealer for years, and you
Yeah.
have quite an affection for brass and a collection. Well, when I bought and sold real estate, I too had a collection, that desire to collect brass. My desire was that we could run models on a Midwest Valley Modelers layout that were indestructible. And back then, plastic models were nowhere near the quality of brass. We were still bending Athearn handrails out of metal in order to make our engines. And that just didn't hold up. Sunshades. If you transported a GP9 and it rolled on its side in the beer box on the way to the train show, your sunshades were broken off.
Yeah.
So I purchased brass back in the early 90s to support that layout because it was durable. And Santa Fe obviously was my favorite railroad. And Phil Sheehan complained one time when Challenger Imports came out with all these beautiful Pensy paint jobs, and the paint was beautiful. And so all of a sudden I started wanting these Challenger Import Pensy locomotives. And Phil Sheehan looked at me one day, he's like, it makes no rhyme or reason for what you buy. You just simply buy what's neat this week to you. Well, Phil was always complaining to me about something. But when it came time for me and Joe Fugate to come up with a name for a show, I remember what Phil told me, that I only liked What's Neat This Week. And what better way to name a show than What's Neat This Week? Because that's exactly what this show is. Absolutely. This week, the Charger locomotive from Amtrak is neat. This week, that mobile home that I picked up from Woodland Scenics is neat. This week, Michele's pink shirt is really, really neat.
It is really, really
That's
neat.
right.
Yes, this is great.
So
Have
thank
you ever
you.
Love
thought
it.
about doing a sister show like What's Neat Last Week?
That's old news. Are you kidding?
Okay.
What's neat last week?
Only Lionel.
That's right. So, Denny, these are amazing cars here. Can you tell us a little bit about them?
Well, I love passenger trains. I just have a passion for passenger trains. I was a kid growing up in the cornfields of Iowa. My dad would take us to watch the trains go by and the Rocky Mountain Rocket and all the famous trains. And I was just fascinated with them. And my first piece of brass that I bought was a Balboa. And typically, brass always costs 10 times what a plastic one. You could buy an Athearn for $1.95 and the Balboa was $10.95. But the detail was really superior. And that's what I really liked about it. And what we have here is we have a 40-year-old car that Precision Scale brought in of the Empire State Express.
Right.
The detail 40 years ago was just so superior, and I love this car. Now, I'm going to detail...
Can we touch it?
Sure. You can't touch this one, but
Wow.
Check it out.
Very nice.
I'll put an interior and I'll put people and shades and all that. And I just love recreating that. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, Union Terminal brought in the Bluebird. I love the Bluebird. I grew up near the Wabash and watching
I shot that outside.
Okay.
the Wabash. That is just an absolutely gorgeous car. And so I just had a fetish of collecting domes, number one, and then passenger cars. And so for the guy, they always say that has everything, what do you get him? Well,
An NCE system?
That's right.
so I have a gold 24 karat plated dome brass car.
I know.
So I see that it's unfinished on the inside. Are you going to leave it as is, or are you going to take it and put people in it and seats? And
No, Ken says I ought to, but it's been in my curio cabinet or my wife's curio cabinet.
right?
And under glass, and kind of like pheasant under glass. This is dome under glass.
Right.
And it's just it's kind of in a way like a joke
I mean, it's
type.
This is real gold. This is not a joke. Do you know the price
Yeah.
of gold now? It's
Yeah.
almost $2,000.
Yeah, I'll say, well, I think I'll melt it down. But anyhow, I think it's a great piece to talk about.
It is.
Definitely.
And so, but I love brass because of the detail. Now, with that said, the modern plastic cars that are coming out are just gorgeous. And they're really giving, but still.
Who made this? How did you get a gold car made out of gold? Is it 24 karat gold?
No, it's brass, and it was
Plated?
Plated. This is Union Terminal Terminal, and then this is like say 40 years old, but it's still gorgeous, and that's what.
Yeah.
But no, this was plated, and it's just like I say, it's a centerpiece.
That's a one and only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Michelle, would you like to have a gold car?
There's
Well,
no
she-
fingerprints on it. You must have polished
She'd
it
rather
before you
a gold tennis bracelet.
I'd rather- yeah.
Does
something
a
with a diamond?
tennis bracelet have headlights and DCC?
No, you're getting it from the wrong store if it does.
Well, thank you, Joshua.
I'm thinking something with a diamond on it. It's gold with a diamond in it.
You know, a diamond would be good on
Necklace.
that light on the end. The lights. Remember the headlights we used to use back in the 70s? They were the artificial, the fake diamonds.
Yeah.
I mean, a guy would show up at the club with a steam engine, a Mogul or a Sunset brass consolidation, and there would be a great big diamond as a headlight.
Yeah.
I remember those days.
Yeah.
I used to dig through my grandma's costume jewelry to get mine. I know. God, the truth comes out on this show. Is this the Tell the Truth show or what? Lionel, tell me something true, brother.
All right, I got something to tell you that I've been dying to. For a minute there, I thought it was nothing but eye candy.
That's just.
Half of it is.
Okay. So I want to talk about something. You were all worried that I didn't have nothing to talk about, which kind of surprised me. Joshua, he was terrified that I would come on here and just sit here like a lump.
A lump?
I didn't say lump.
Yeah. No, not you weren't terrified. Ken was worried about it. But anyway, do you know, Ken, about people are starting to operate layouts remotely around the world? There's a guy in Lebanon, New Jersey, Dave Abelies. I'm wearing his shirt. His layout is called the Onondaga Cutoff. And he's a huge fan of yours, by the way. He's a huge fan of Ken Patterson photography.
How about
But he
that?
right now is, he does these remote operating sessions. And he's had Gordy Robinson from Scotland operating his layout from Scotland. He's had Martin Jenkins from Australia operating his layout. And this is becoming a thing in the hobby where people are operating layouts from thousands of miles away through the wonders of modern technology.
Probably through
Wow.
JMRI, I imagine, because that's
No.
is that what
No.
they're using?
No, it's a series of these guys have figured out a way. They use Skype and they use the TeamViewer and something else called. They're using a series, and and you operate it through your phone.
Okay.
Oh.
It's the coolest thing. So on Dave Abelies' layout, what you're looking at is his dispatcher's board. You're operating your train through your phone, and you're hearing all the radio traffic back through your computer. It is the coolest thing, and it's going to be the next wave of model railroading. It's really, really cool.
That's
Wow.
that is neat.
As we speak, Dave Abelies has done several Facebook Live demonstrations of this, and actually, as we speak, he's doing one right now. But I said, Dave, I can't do that. I'm doing the Patterson show.
Very smart move.
That's awesome. That is
So
awesome.
yeah, you got to investigate that, Ken, because it's something that's coming, and you should. And you're always on the cutting edge, so get out there and investigate.
That sounds interesting, but you know, I have a feeling Daniel's going to be running this layout tonight, and he's not going to be doing it from his house.
That's probably
But
true.
what you're talking about, I've heard about, and I'd like to know more about that. I'm sure maybe folks in readers' comments might be able to give us some insight on websites, or maybe use some YouTube videos on that very subject.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. If you go to Dave Abelies, he's on Facebook. It's the Onondaga Cutoff, Onondaga Cutoff. And he's got a whole bunch of videos up there that he's done, just on Facebook. But yeah, and he's got a new book coming out about signaling. It's being printed by Kalmbach,
Ooh.
and it's 144 pages.
Wow.
And I believe he just got the proofs, which would signal that the book is about to be published.
Signal.
Nice. I get it. It took me a second.
I know. We're going to let this show run long on purpose because we're just having way too much fun.
Absolutely.
Now, Denny, you were talking about a club that you belong to, and you showed me some video on Facebook that I'm screen capturing right now. Tell us about this club that you run your trains on.
Well, we meet Mondays and Fridays. So my wife is a widow on those 2 days. It is called the Jacksonville Terminal Railroad Museum, and it is phototypical of Jacksonville from 1937 to 1974. And on Mondays we could run whatever. I could bring my Wabash, I could run, but on Fridays we have our operating sessions, and we typically run 4 to 5 trains at once, and it's all of the trains that came into Jacksonville, and so naturally it's the southeast, and it's passenger trains. So man, I'm just loving it.
I'm loving the scenery that I just saw in this video. Those individual plants with the individual leaves on it leading up to that trestle was beautiful.
We have one guy that he's a personal friend of mine, Mike Stamey. He's a personal model builder from scratch. He's great. And we have another fella that is from New England that's has built most of the bridges, and our president they're just fabulous model builders. And I go there, and it's a model railroader's heaven.
That sounds like a good
we
interview.
we all get along. It's climate controlled. It's just like, hey, I went to model railroad heaven.
Michele, how'd you like to go to Jacksonville? I'd like to interview these folks down at that layout. You want to go?
Sounds good to me. Let's go.
Scoop up the kids
Well,
and let's...
come
You
in
don't have
come in January
Well,
when it's cold.
You don't have to convince me to travel. I mean, I'm there.
Good.
You don't have
So,
to
Denny-
convince me into that.
Denny, I am friends with you on Facebook. You post a ton of videos all the time. And I want you to tell us a little bit about your Bologna Express.
What's that?
Well, first of all, it is the world famous Bologna Express.
That's right.
It's the world famous.
What are you talking about?
Yet I've never heard of it.
Well,
So,
I'm originally from a little town in Iowa, made up of all little Dutch people like myself, and they make Pella bologna, and it's just the world's greatest. Well, I took the 62-foot refrigerator modern cars, and I took the logo from Pella, and I got decals, and so I now have about a 12 car of Pella bologna, and I talk about it that we're making Pella bologna in Pella, and we distribute it to all the wayward Dutchmans like myself, and throughout the United States. And I've had quite a following that people like my Bologna Express. So.
Man, Lionel, jump in anytime you want and save me. Baloney, Lionel. That's just a smile. This is the first time I've seen him speechless.
But it's world famous.
And it's amazing to see.
That's cool. That's a passion.
That's right.
Now, one last thing I think Joshua wanted to talk about, and that was Lionel Strang posted something on his Facebook page this week, or yesterday, in fact, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I saw a big check.
A big check.
He posted a big old check. Who is that with you? Is that Barb next to you holding the check?
That's my secretary of 32 years, Barb. Yep,
And the check is for $17,000.
it is.
And it's for Princess Mary Margaret Hospital, correct?
Yep, Princess
Wow.
Margaret Hospital in Toronto. Yep.
And that brings your grand total that you've raised for them to $75,000.
impressive.
Seems like the
Very
only.
impressive.
It seemed like
Wow.
the right thing to do when they cured me of stage 4 cancer. So I figured.
I agree.
God.
We all applaud you, sir.
And we are so glad you are with us.
I love you,
Yes.
Lionel.
Yeah.
Can
We
I
are
just
glad.
say it?
Absolutely.
Hey, before we go, am I on camera now?
Yes, you are.
There, now I feel better.
How about that?
We love having you on, Lionel, definitely.
I'm telling you what, this is the best hobby in the world.
Ken, do you actually use that second pair of glasses?
Yes.
He does.
These,
He does.
one of them's to see the trains up close, and the other one's to see things far away. I just switch them.
Okay, Michele, the first time you ever met him, and
I didn't need glasses back
He
then.
didn't
I
need
could
glasses.
see.
Okay, that's good.
Nobody
because I
needed
don't-
glasses back then. Now I need them to see my food on my plate, so I can't see.
Maybe I should try contacts.
Anything.
But if I did that, we'd have to change the logo for the show.
That's right. See?
Good.
Guys, I'm telling you what. Let's go around the table one more time. Is there anything else we need to cover tonight? I think we've just wrapped this one up.
I think that's great.
You constantly say this is the world's greatest hobby, and I want to tell you that as an entrepreneur that makes these jackets, and I love selling them to make money, and that's what America is all about. I was running trains at my train club, and I had the hottest train and really paying attention. This guy calls up and he says, Denny, I want to order a jacket. I saw you on What's Neat, and that's the greatest show, and I love that Union Pacific jacket. And I told him, I says,
How about that?
thank you very much, but I'm running trains. And can I call you back? And he says, you're running trains? And yeah, I'm running trains. And he says, I understand, call me back. And that's what, this is the world's greatest hobby.
It is the world's
With
greatest
the
hobby.
world's greatest people.
I know, and we're coming up on Christmas pretty soon, guys. So remember, Denny Jelsma, check it out, jelsma.com
That's
for a
right.
gift, or buy your loved one a NCE power system, the power of DCC. You got that great system that Daniel loves, the power cab, which is totally upgradable, and that's what you've got.
That's
and I
absolutely
always
right.
keep talking about it. That's why they're always sitting on the table here, because we all love to use them to run our trains,
And-
which is exactly what we're about to do.
That's
isn't
right.
it?
Make sure and go and check Lionel's podcast out, A Modeler's Life.
And Modeler's Life, and if you go to modellerslife.com, that's the website. You can learn all about it, and it's lots of fun, and we do it twice a week, and it doesn't even compare to this. You know what, Ken? I'm just going to finish up with saying you have a very unique show. You're a new unique guy, and you've done the hobby a great service, and I'm proud to call you friend.
Thank you very much. So with that said, guys, thank you very much, Michele, for being on with us tonight. It's awesome to have you sitting next to me. Denny Jelsma, Joshua Sugarfire, Daniel Coombs doesn't break stuff anymore. I love you. Best hobby in the world with the best people in it. Let's go run some trains,
See you
guys.
guys later.